Doing the intro is the worst.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone to the AusSpeedruns Show. My name is Nace, and today I am joined by Raikou. Raikou, how you going?
Yeah, not too bad. Ready for this. Definitely keen to talk about what's going on with speedrunning for me and, all of my past stuff I've done and just give everyone a rough idea of what it's all about.
Yeah, awesome. Because you are someone that has been involved in the community for a very long time, at least in the AusSpeedruns community. So, keen to get
since
into that.
2013 or something like
Yeah,
that.
wow.
Like probably when I started. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's go back to like your sort of early gaming memories. Was there anything that you did as a kid gaming that sort of might have been the precursor to becoming a speedrunner? Like, were you always someone that was all about like going fast or optimizing your gameplay when you were young?
See, this is the really strange thing about it. It would come across like I'm someone who doesn't enjoy playing video games because I always was about beating them as fast as possible. I just wanted to get to the end of the games that I played, and it just kind of came across like I didn't like playing them for too long at a time. Especially as a kid playing old NES games, which is what I grew up on mostly before getting a Sega Mega Drive and playing Sonic games and stuff like that. I played a lot of Nintendo games and aimed to progress in those as much as I could, and if I couldn't progress, I'd stop straight away. Like there wouldn't be like any sort of push for a challenge. I just wasn't that kind of kid, I guess. So yeah, like that was, I guess, the starting point, but not knowingly to me that it was going to be the beginning of speedrunning.
So then, yeah, what was it that initially got you into speedrunning off the back of that?
Actually, it was SGDQ and AGDQ 2013. Seeing those and also watching TASs, thinking the TASs were real people, and just going like bonkers over how good these people were, thinking that they were real people at the time. Because like those have been around for such a long time, so much longer than I expected. And YouTube videos used to be uploaded of those TASs, like as they are now, of course. And I used to just watch them, and it would tell me who played it, and it'd always be under the name TAS, and I always just kind of thought that was a real person back then. And yeah, SGDQ, AGQ 2013 is when I realized that they weren't real people, and things started clicking in my head that there's a community of people that do these things, and I wanted to be a part of it.
Was there a specific run from one of those events that really like got you in? Outside of the TAS confusion, was there a run at like AGDQ or SGDQ that you watched and you were like, I really want to like do that or like play that?
It wasn't any run in particular that like made me want to pick up that game in particular. It's just the whole idea of it. With the games that I remember as a kid, there was also like new games coming out that were made in my hometown that I picked up. That's pretty much what I started with. But some of the runs that like kind of stuck out as ones that were really enjoyable were some of like TOEFL's SGDQ 2013 runs, such as like the Diddy Kong Racing run he did with the new strat, and like that having the new world record at that time using this new wrong warp, which was like seriously cool. And just I wanted to see those kind of strats incorporated into a game that I enjoyed as a kid, and that's kind of where I started looking.
So yeah, with the games that you do run, you're quite tough to pin down. You've gone from Sonic to Digimon to Tomba to big old bass fishing. Sort of with all these different styles of the games that you play, what do you sort of look for in a game that you want to speedrun? And is there anything that you can think of that would like tie these sort of games together that you can see as like a theme with what you run?
Yeah, so the easiest thing is that the history with me. I played all of them as a kid, a lot. So I look into my past to find a game that I want to run and bring back to like, my modern memories, I guess, and start playing those games again. But the easiest way for me to get the best replay value out of those games again is to speedrun them. So it's happened with every game that I've run except for the first one I ever picked up.
Okay. And what game was that, and why did you pick that one up?
So Freedom Fall was the first game I ever picked up as a speedrun. First game I ever started Twitch streaming with. It was a indie game indie Steam game made in my hometown. So they were going around to a lot of like venues, clubs and stuff like that, like gaming nightclubs, and they were demoing the game there, and I got to try it out, and I thought, hey, this is pretty cool to like downwards platformer. So you're always falling down the tower, and you're trying to reach the bottom of the tower. And there's like, obviously like going to be a bunch of like traps and stuff around stopping you from falling as fast as you possibly can. So I picked that up, and there was one person at the time who was going against me for a top time. So I was just going back and forth with him, and that was exciting. So I picked it up purely because it was just a game made where I live in Perth, WA. So the developers are from there. They made the game there. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, yep, I'm going to give that a shot. Yeah. Start off with.
Cool. So if we go back to the games that you're more familiar with or with like from your childhood, what would you say is probably like your proudest achievement in terms of a time that you've gotten in those games?
Is that from like ever?
Yeah, just ever. Any game that you can think of.
So probably the 46 I got in Tomba, which was less than a year ago. Probably probably a few months ago I got that. For the longest time, Tomba was my second speed game I ever picked up. So like after doing that indie game from Perth, WA, I switched to Tomba, and that was a game that I played a lot as a kid. And that's when I started the trend of running games that I played a lot as a kid. Tomba, I got pretty good times with. Beat the original world record holder when I started, and then I started bringing the time down minute by minute for a little bit. Then I stopped, and then Fuzziness picked up the game and started like blowing it out with new strats. And then I started incorporating new strats. Brought the time even further down with those new strats. Got it to like a 47.50. Which at the time was just barely sub 50 before a timing change that counted out the credits. And that obviously saved a few minutes on the final time, but everyone obviously got that with the new timing method. I then recently was running what is technically the 100% category for the game. That's I improved by learning how to mash the X button better. Because the text is kind of not really limited to how fast you can mash. You just got to be quick at it. And then I started doing better mashing methods, kind of like what they do for Tetris, where they like have to roll their palms over the controller to move left and right faster. Mm-hmm. I incorporated something like that into my X button mashing. And I was able to get my text speed down, or text speed faster, a lot more than before. Mm-hmm. And with my optimization that I'd got from playing the game in the 100% category, I was able to bring my any percent time, which I thought was insane before, another further minute down, and now it's just like 16 seconds off my summer best in something I've run. I have a total of like 3,000 attempts plus in like a 50-minute rough average 50-minute game. Mm-hmm. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so
it's definitely up there.
Yeah, and with pushing a time down like that, there's obviously a lot of sort of grit and grind that goes into that. What sort of kept you motivated in that game or any other games where you've sort of gotten a really good time, say in Digimon? What keeps you motivated to push those times through?
I guess like on top of just genuinely having a good feeling when you improve in those games because of how they work. If you improving your time, it just actually feels really rewarding. On top of that, it's kind of the community drive as well. The community that comes from these games, kind of a niche audience, but it's an audience that will purely come for that game because it's something that isn't streamed too often. Both Digimon World and Tomba are both games that don't see a lot of traction on Twitch. So when I do them, it gets a certain audience to it, and the audience I get from them are generally really good people. So I enjoy having their company, and that kind of keeps me motivated to keep pushing the games in multiple ways that a lot of people wouldn't.
We talk about community there. And as I said
Yep.
at the start, you're someone that's been involved in the AusSpeedruns community for a while, which is also a bit of a niche kind of speedrunning community that's sort of growing and growing. What is it that draws you to like attend these kind of events every year? And also, you've even hosted your own with that ZoomiCon that happened a few years ago. What sort of pushes you to be attending these events and hosting them?
The people, the general community, the people that attend these events are just really, really great to hang around with. You spend a week with them while the event's going on. There's always things to be doing outside of the event, places to hang out. You get to meet a bunch of people that you probably wouldn't think that you would ever get involved with, but you go to these events and straight away you can be like roped into the group, I guess. Yeah, they're just genuinely really welcoming people. I started attending the ASM / PAX events for PAX 2016, and I'm honestly not a very social person outside of my stream. I don't really interact with people as much as sometimes it comes across on my stream. But when I went to this event, I was pretty much just involved after the first day of being there. Just the people were so welcoming, got really involved straight away. And yeah, now I call these people my best friends. So it happens so fast. It hits you real quick.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. And so then we look towards ASM 2022, which is coming up quite soon. Submissions will be open by the time that this is out. You're someone that's submitted a lot of runs to these events, and also you've run in online events such as ESA. What sort of tips would you give someone that's looking to submit a run, maybe for the first time, to an event like this?
There's pretty much not really much in terms of like limiting factors. If you find a game that you enjoy and you want to pick it up and you do runs of it and you have recorded runs of it, you can pretty much submit for the event, and you've probably got a good chance of getting into it. There's like, obviously there's only some certain factors that will stop you from being able to do it, depending on like rating of the game and stuff like that. But honestly, if you're just picking up something that you enjoyed as a child, or something that's like recently released that's a good platformer and you want to speedrun that, you can definitely pick it up, learn it in like maybe a month or two, to at least put some time into getting a time on the leaderboard, and then you are probably able to submit it to ASM at that case. And running for the event, if you have a commentator with you that you can bounce your commentary off, it makes for a much more fun time, in my opinion. Most of my runs, I've had a couple of my friends on the couch with me, and they've bounced the commentary back and forth whenever there's some some mute moments where no one's really saying anything. They'll like jump in and say something to bounce it back to me, and it keeps the whole thing rolling. And by the time you've realized that you've done the run, it's over. By the time you realize that you're comfortable with the run, it's over, because it's just happened so quickly and so calm. Just having your friends with you on the couch.
So finally, if we're talking about runs that you've done and bouncing off commentary, do you have a run that you look back on as probably your favorite that you have done, at these events or even some of the online events?
Off the top of my head, I think probably my Sonic Mania run, Sonic Mania Tales run that I did for PAX 2019, was up there as one of my favorites. Another one that's just kind of an honorable mention, I guess, would be the Beyblade run for ASM 2019. That run was... It doesn't take a lot of skill to do. It's very, very, very easy. But I feel like the entertainment aspect of it was real on point. The run, I pretty much walked away from the stage and joined the crowd while the run finished itself at the very end, which just was really, really funny to do. And everyone seemed to have really enjoyed it. In terms of community or crowd engagement, I think that's probably my favorite. But in terms of skill level and being on point for it, I feel like the Sonic Mania Tales run was up there.
Awesome. All right, so that wraps it up. Thank you very much, Raikou, for joining me, and thanks everyone for listening. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at AusSpeedruns, and get your submissions in for ASM 2022. We'll see you there.